So in this video, we're going to learn how to use the Honeywagon. This is the truck we use to clean out our RV septic tanks. We call it the Honeywagon. First thing I had to do is obtain the key. I'm not going to tell you where that key is, but you should know that. So this is the Honeywagon. Got about 120 gallon tank on the back of this thing. Let's find out. Bugs are horrible. Actually, we got a 150 gallon tank. Typically, you only get about 80 gallons out of your RV. That's with the black and the gray tank. So let's take this Honeywagon to the RV, and I'll catch you there. All right, the first thing we're going to do is take this white hose here, and we're going to drag that out of the truck and extend it up to our camper. And another thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this blue line here, you want to make sure that handle is in the up position. That's closed, okay? Because if that's open, when you start pumping out of your RV, everything's going to come shooting right through that blue hose, and it's going to make a mess. So always make sure that's in the up position like it is here before you start pumping. And when you're done cleaning out your tank, make sure you put it back in the up position for the next person. All right, the next thing we're going to do after we have this this white tube is now extended out across the lot here and running up towards the RV. We're going to take the adapter, which is found behind the pump motor, this thing right down here. We're going to take that up to our camper, and that's going to get connected to our RV sewer line. All right, so we're just going to take this connector here, this adapter, and we're going to connect it right up to our RV sewer line. Let's see if I can hold my phone and make this connection at the same time here. And we want to connect it on here with the nozzle pointing down. So that's now connected. And then we're going to connect the hose. You have to make sure the ends of this hose are in the up position like that. And then you want to push down on these. And that's now connected. So that's that simple. So you can see that's now connected. And we do have a glass elbow on there so we can see what's coming out of our tank. So that's connected. The white line's running down to the truck. We don't need to start the motor yet. We can actually pull our black tank. We're going to pull the black valve and fill that line up with our black tank. So it's all running down the tube now, filling that line. And as soon as you hear it stop running, we'll go ahead and start the motor. Now, before I start the motor, I'm gonna flush my toilet, and I'm gonna put a brick on top of the pedal like this, because I don't have anybody here to hold this pedal down. That will allow water to continuously run down through the toilet and into the tank to help flush it out. All right, now we have the hose connected. We opened our black tank. The line is filled with the black tank line. The black tank, so we're ready to start this motor and start pumping our black tank into the holding tank. So what we need to do is make sure this is closed, and it is. It's in the up position. Now we're going to turn on our fuel. When it's horizontal like that, it's on. We're going to rev up the engine to the rabbit to full run and choke it, and we're going to pull our cord. And we're going to unshirt it. And we are pumping. So it is emptying the black tank in the RV now. We'll let that continue for a little while. And I do have the water running down the toilet inside. Okay, so watching this elbow, I can see that the black tank is starting to empty. It's not filling up as fast. It is a little still running out, but that's probably because I have the toilet flushed. And now that it's starting to empty out, I'm going to close the black valve and let some water build up in the tank. And while it does that, I'm going to go ahead and shut the engine off. Okay, so far I've pumped about 30 gallons out of the black tank. And it started to slow down. I could see it through the side elbow that it was slowing down. So I closed the black valve. And the toilet is still flushed inside with the brick on top of it. So it's filling the tank, the black tank now, with fresh water. And then I'll empty it again. I'm just trying to clean the black tank out some. And one thing I forgot to mention is you can take off this cover over the engine to check the gas in the engine. And you should do that before you start using it. Make sure it's full. And fill it up if, you know, when you're done. Make sure it's got plenty of fuel in it. Let's take a look. All right, you can just lift that metal cover off of there. And then you can see the fuel tank underneath here. So let's take a look. And it's pretty full, so whoever used it last must have made sure it was full. And you don't have to fill it every time. But if you notice it's empty, make sure you stop at the tool shed and fill this thing up with gas. All right, this thing's been off for a while, and I've been filling the black tank back up with fresh water. So I'm going to open the black valve now and fill the line back up. And you can see the everything running back out of the black tank. It's going to fill the line back up, and then we're going to start the engine back up. But I might let it run for a little bit longer before I start that engine, just to put plenty of water in that black tank. And then we'll start the line back up, start the engine. Right, I'm going to go ahead and start this thing back up. Just throttle it back up. I still have the fuel on. And we're going to start pumping again. Sometimes it takes a little while to get a suction going. It should start here soon. There it goes. And you can keep doing this until you see that side elbow clear up. It still looks a little dirty to me, so I'm going to keep on doing this until it looks a little cleaner. I like to make sure my tank's kind of cleaned out. So I'm going to continue repeating this process, shutting the engine off, filling my tank up, and restarting the engine until it looks like it's cleared up in that elbow. So I shut the engine off again. I did leave my valve open this time, and the toilet inside is still flushing water, fresh water down the toilet into the tank, and it's running straight down the pipe. And I'll just let that continue to do that. It still looks pretty dirty, so I'm going to keep on flushing this thing out until it looks a little better. All right, I've repeated this process probably about 4 or 5 times, it's starting to look a little clearer. So now that I got the black tank pretty clean, I'm going to go ahead and open the gray tank. And I'm going to drain that gray tank out. That'll help wash the line out with a little bit cleaner water. So as soon as the gray tank's empty, I'm going to go in and take that brick off the toilet right now. I don't need to flush the toilet anymore. All right, I'm going to remove the brick here. I don't need to be flushing the toilet anymore. So we'll close that up. Well, it looks like everything's done cleaning out. The elbow's showing empty right now, so I'm going to go ahead and close the black tank. I'm going to close the gray tank. And I'm going to go shut the engine down, and we'll disconnect this hose. In fact, let's disconnect it right now. That way we can flush this line out. I'm going to unhook that adapter and unhook the hose from the adapter. I got everything disconnected. I disconnected the hose by lifting the two levers, and that when you lift those two levers, the hose disconnects. And then I detached the adapter from the camper. Now what you have to do is you have to raise this hose to try to pump everything out of it. Let me see if I can set my camera down so you can see what's going on here. All right, it feels empty. So that completes this process. You can see I've pumped, let's see, about 100 gallons. Looks like I have about 100 gallons in that tank. Let's shut this engine down. Let's turn off our fuel. And that's it. Now we have to put our hose away. We just curl that up around the front of the tank here. And then we're ready to haul this out front. All right, don't forget your adapter. Put that back in the truck. And we got to make sure we wash that out when we get out front to the hose. So we're going to put that back in here. And then we're going to put this cover back on. You can see it goes on over the engine. It's a little hard to do while I'm holding this phone, but just sits down over the engine like so. Got the hose curled back up around the front. So let's head out front. Now we do have a set of directions right here in the truck too, to use the Honeywagon to empty the tank on the truck. We're about ready to go out and empty the tank on the truck. So let's do that. A lot of weight, 100 gallons. Well, now that I'm out front, first thing I need to do is wash this adapter off so that I don't forget. So we're going to take that adapter and just give it a good spray off with the hose. So let's do that first. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to remove this nozzle so that we can hook this hose up to this white hose in here. And what that'll do is when I turn the water on, it'll put water going down through the tank and help flush it out as you drain this tank out. It'll keep things stirred up and help keep the tank clean inside. All right, so I took the nozzle off and I hooked the green hose to the white hose, which runs up into the tank. So we're going to turn our water on. And what that's doing is putting fresh water in the tank. All right, so now we're going to take the cap off here. And we're going to run this blue line. And we're going to run this blue line down into the hole. Sorry, my video quality isn't very good. I'm trying to do this while I'm holding my phone. All right, see that? Now all we got to do is open this blue valve here, and that will start emptying the tank. But I do like to baby it because I am putting 100 gallons into this 100 gallons into the septic tank. So we're going to open this, and it's going to start draining that 100 gallons out. Now this is just a residential septic tank, so putting 100 gallons in at one time can cause it to come up out of the ground down at the bottom there. So usually what I like to do is maybe put 10 gallons down in there and then stop it for a while. Let the drain field catch up, and then we'll put a little more down in there. You know, residential septic tanks weren't meant to take a 110 gallon flush at one time, so you got to kind of baby it in there. So we'll just keep on doing that. And if you look down over the hill, sometimes you can see some spilling out, and that's okay. It'll absorb into the ground, but we try to minimize it. Maybe eventually we'll get a bigger drain field put in. So I just watch the tank to see how many gallons I'm putting down in. And then maybe every 10 or 20 gallons I'll stop it and let the drain field try to catch up a little bit. But that's it. And I keep that water running the whole time. That splashes things around in there and helps keep it clean as it's going down. Now at the end of this process, the tank's empty. I close the valve and I'll let some fresh water fill up the tank, maybe 10 gallons or so. And then I'll flush it out, flush out this blue hose with some nice clean water before I put it away. So as soon as that's emptied out again with fresh water, I'll wrap the hose up. And it's just about empty. And we're going to go ahead and shut off the water. And I always remember to shut this valve. That way the next person won't have an unpleasant surprise. All right, let's wrap the blue hose up, and then we'll disconnect our water line, put the nozzle back on, cap the hole, and we're done. And again, always check your gas. Make sure you're putting it away with fuel for the next person. It's always nice to be considerate and do your part. And one last thing to do, it would be to check the fuel in the truck. And you can see the fuel is pretty low. So I think I'm going to stop at the tool shed and put a little gas in this truck. All right, we're going to go in the tool shed here. Now remember, this gasoline in here is for campground use only. It's for the mowers. It's for the equipment when we're using it for campground use. If you use any of this equipment for your own use at your site, you should bring your own gasoline. Like the log splitter. If you're using that for your own site, you should use your own gasoline. The gasoline in this container here is for the truck. It's for the mowers. It is not for your own personal use. All right, make sure you lock the truck so we don't have any kids messing around with it. And return the key to where you found it. And that's how you use the Honeywagon. And by all means, please wash your hands. And one last optional step is to put a little deodorizer down in there.